Hello, hello. Welcome back to Divine Destiny Guide. I have another message for you. I pray you're doing well wherever you are. How are you? I'm so grateful, really, truly thankful for you. And I just pray that God will continue to bless you, to provide for your every needs, and that you will know that you're loved. You're loved. If you weren't loved, you would not be here today. Despite of all your challenges, your ups and downs. So many people have gone home on the other side and you are still here. There is so much to give God thanks for. And even when you think you have nothing or you're down to nothing, always remember that when you are down to nothing, that God is always up to something. Divine is always up to something, and He's causing all things to work together for our good. And that is what you need to know. So you are blessed and highly favored. Of course, we are secured and protected. Yes, God is for us. And remember, we are stars, right? They cannot stop us from shining. So let's get into the word. So I prayed, I meditated, and I asked for divine's guidance with these messages. And so the first card here, it says saboteur. Saboteur highlights your fear of self-empowerment and the changes it could bring to your life. So please don't sabotage yourself. I don't know what is presented to you, what it is that you need to do, and you're talking yourself out of it. You're thinking this mountain is too high, it's too big for me. Where's the money gonna come from? You're looking at everything and the enemies, and you could also even have people pointing out all the things that could go wrong. And God is saying, don't do that. Don't induce those self-destructive behavior or the desire to undermine yourself. Because it's one thing when people don't expect much of us, but I'm telling you, when you do this to yourself, it's the worst thing that you can do. So please do not sabotage. If you believe you can fly, you can fly. Your attitude determines your altitude. We have not because we ask not. This is faith over fear. If God brings you to it, He will bring you through it. It doesn't matter what the situation looks like. If God says it's yours, then it is already done. It's already done. So please do not sabotage yourself. Please do not talk yourself out of whatever this is, no matter how big, how wide, how severe this is. You may say so many people tried it before, they weren't successful. Well, guess what? Maybe you are the one who are meant to do it. You are the one. You're here to break these generational curses. And you're feeling the calling and the nudges and the pulls that Spirit has on your life. And you're thinking, no, no, that can't be true. Me, no, 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 no way. But God is saying, yes, it's like you are the one. You are the one I chose for this. You may say, God, I'm not educated enough. It's not about that. He does not call the person or the people who already have it all together, but it's the people who He calls that He equips. Like He told Jeremiah, it's like, don't be afraid. It's like, just open your mouth. I will word your mouth. You want to start that channel and you're saying, no. Let me tell you, if God says it, it's already done. It is already done. So a lot of you, a lot of us were called as students. It says humility and devotion to knowledge, openness to lifelong learning. So we're called to learn. I mean, we're on earth. This is school here. We're here to learn lessons. And as we learn, then we grow up, then it's like mature in our knowledge and our wisdom, then can become the teachers. But before we become that, then we have to be the student first, be under the tutelage of others. It's like be open to learn. Don't be arrogant or unwilling to translate as well your knowledge into action, because a lot of people hear it and they just sit on it. They do nothing about it. And this can happen in any areas of our life. Like I told you, back in school, the principal would tell us that some of us come as dumpling and leave as Johnny cake, because we hear the message, we hear it over and over again, but we only become tougher and harder. Jesus gave the parable of the sower and the seed. For some people, the grain will fall on good soil and it will prosper and it will bear and it will flourish, but some, it's shallow. So for some people, it's like they can hear it over and over. It doesn't mean that they're going to change or do anything about it. So it's like, don't talk yourself out of learning something new, doing something new, even starting over, having a new beginning, leaving that job, leaving that community, leaving those people because they're not serving you. And it's like not allowing people to sabotage you from starting over as well. Yeah, it's like your call as an athlete. It says dedication to transcending physical limits, including handicaps, development of and personal willpower and strength of spirit. Yeah, we're called here to run the race of life. Like Paul says, I run the race. I kept the faith. This is what it is at the end of the day when we're on our bed, if we get to live to see that. But as you reflect on life, we should have little to no regrets because we were able to take chances. We didn't allow opportunities to pass us by because we wanted to play it safe. We sabotage ourselves. We talk ourselves out of things. Time and chance happens to all of us. So again, even for those of you who have these abilities, it's like, let us try not to abuse them as well, to be selfish or to be entitled. But again, it's the dedication to transcending, to break barriers where physical limitations were set. People said you couldn't come off to anything. Nobody in the family ever done this before. But it's you, I'm telling you, it's you, that spirit that God is calling. It's you. You are the one. You're called to break barriers, including handicaps. The things the hang-ups in your life that people said you would not survive. Also, development of your personal willpower. Be able to persevere, have that stamina, true grits. The things that people and life threw at you that it should have break you, it should have taken you out. You should have been a victim, you should have been a failure, you should have been a statistics, you should have been on welfare, you should have been on food stamp. Oh my gosh. You should have been in the grave, and you're here. You are here. And your spirit is strong. They cannot break your soul. Life, you did not allow life to break your soul. You did not allow life and circumstances and situations to get you down. It's like when I was born, I was told that I would not live past the age of 12. And I believed that as a child. I don't know, the doctors, I guess, they thought that, I was a kid. They were just telling my mom and my grandparent, my grandmother, this stuff. They were just talking as if I'm not there. But I was listening and I took it to heart. Because of that, there are things as a child that I wouldn't do, I couldn't do. I was not, nobody expected anything from me. Everybody was just waiting until it's like the 12 o'clock struck, the 12 o'clock, the 12 o'clock alarm to come on, for the clock to strike at 12. It's like everybody was expecting and waiting for everything to end. But God, but God, but God. Every doctor that my mom and my grandmother heard about, they took me, whether it's to the healer for herbs and remedies, to the physicians. The last option was for me to have a surgery. My mom didn't want that to happen. She was afraid she didn't have the support from other family members, and she didn't want to have the guilt on her hands. So it's like, it was kind of like, just leave it to chance, to God. Let's see how this is going to pan out. And so because of that, nobody stressed me. It's like going to school was just like me wanting to go, but nobody expected me to work hard to try to break any barriers or limitations. But let me tell you, it's like it's like, can you imagine going up to midnight to the age of 12? That was like a life sentence. That was like the book being thrown at me. That was like the end. For me, that's how I felt. So it was like going on every day, just, at any moment, any minute, the other shoe can drop. But I'm telling you, it's like once I passed 12 and 13 and 14, and I realized that the doctors lied to me. They should have just said that their knowledge ended there. They can't help me. But I'm telling you, when God says it's not over until God says it is. And it's like I was able to, it's almost like sneak past, like a nightmare, a bad dog, tippy toe, past that from the age of 12. And then once I saw that I was out of danger, let me tell you, with God, I just decided to take life by the horn. And it's like, for me, the sky is the limit. I wanted to challenge the status quo. There was a time even in my life, after I had my surgery as an adult, and one of the intern, the doctor, he said to me, "Young lady, so what are you going to do now?" And I told him I wanted to go back to school. He said to me, "Oh, if I were you, I would not even read a book." And that same day, even though I had finished high school before, back home, that same day I told my mom, leaving that doctor's appointment, I said, "Take me to the center. I would like to go and get my high school diploma here." And within a month, I did that. I did that. I recently found some old pictures of those moments, and let me tell you, it just sent me back down memory lane. It's great memories, and it's also just looking back at what if I had listened to what those doctors have said? What if I had allowed what was supposed to be my handicap to take control of me? What would my life be? I have many reasons to play the game of a victim. And it's a decision, it's a choice. It's a choice. I decided not to be one. I have more than enough reasons to be. But I believe that I am an overcomer. I am victorious. I am royalty. I believe the report that God says of God, what He says who I am. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. I am above and not beneath. Yes, and this is why I believe with all of my heart and my soul when I tell you that I am blessed and highly favored and I am protected and secured in the Savior's love. And this is what you too, you need to believe about yourself. This is what you need to know about yourself. Because when the enemy speaks lies into you, and you have to be able to speak life into those dead places. I remember there were times when I would wake up and the first thing, even before I opened my eyes, the first lie the enemy would whisper to me is that you're going to die. And I had to have the word to combat it, to say, I shall not die, but live to declare the works of the Lord. I shall not die until I speak what God have me here to do. Because I'm telling you, if you roll over and play dead, the enemy is going to have a field time with you. And don't tell me I can't, because I know that I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. And this is why when I share my testimony of all the trials that I've been through, even the evil people I grew up with who know, they knew the things, the challenges that I've gone through. And yet still, the hate, the envy, the jealousy, the attacks, them trying to even sabotage me. But I'm telling you, it's because my faith is anchored in divine's love. This is why they cannot stop me. They cannot block me. Why? Because God got me. This is the faith you have to have. Look, as a child eternal, this is the last card here. A determination to remain young in body, mind, and spirit. Ability to see things with fresh eyes. That's like being the student. Always be open, be willing to learn. And a determination to, because once you decide you're going to be young in your mind, your spirit, and your body, then you're always on the verge of learning, of knowing something new, not staying stagnant. It's like you're not going to be a martyr to anybody, for anybody. You're not going to dwarf or shrink yourself. You're not going to be dependent on other people for physical security. You're going to work, you're going to do life, you're going to make life. Because you're a child eternal, you're a child, you're a son and daughter of the Most High God. And I'm telling you, when you have this faith, I'm not saying that there are not days where I feel challenged or you're going to have some doubt or fear. But it's like, do what you need to do and shake it off. Do what you need to do and shake it off. Mother Mary, divine experiences, a miraculous encounter, it says here. Divine experiences. Do not be afraid of being powerful. Do not be afraid of yourself. You have power within you. Jesus said it, the same power that raised him from the dead, and we're just coming out of the Easter season, the same power that got him out of the grave, it's in us. It's in all of us, that dunamis power. God wants to have an encounter with you, a face-to-face. Just like he met Saul on the road of Damascus. Like to wake you up, to wake us up. Again, don't sabotage yourself. Stop playing yourself out so small. Stop dimming your own light. You have power within you. This is why a lot of you, you're hated. You're envied. You just don't know it. You're here. You have a divine mission. Enlightened action. Make choices from the heart. Yeah, it's like, this is why you're a student. You have a purpose. But it's like there are certain things that we have to go through in life. Like it says, no test, no testimony. No cross, no crown. So we have to start somewhere. And so this is why we can go back. We can return to teach, to tell others about the goodness and the greatness of God. All the things that you have gone through, you have the receipts for them. People look at your life and they think you have it so easy, all because they don't know the work that you have done on yourself. Be willing to be humble under the mighty hands of God. The people who work for me, when they do wicked things and they think that I don't know, or they think it's okay, I always tell them, I said, I know to do the same thing as you have done, but I said it's a choice. Doing good or evil, it's a choice. But I choose to do good. So yes, make choices from the heart. Of everything in our body, all he asks for, he says, give me your heart and I will give you my Father's everlasting kingdom. And we know this. When you do things from the heart, you're not tired. You're not weary. You don't feel like you're working or stress or burden. When you don't do it from the heart or just for money or for people to say, oh, good job, then that's when it becomes burdensome. Because at some point you're going to fizz out. Your true colors will come out. Yeah, your inner fire. Bridget, your inner fire. Let your passion lead you to your purpose. As an athlete, let it lead you. Run the course. Fight the good fight. Let that inner fire burn. It's like when I see this and with the athlete, I'm thinking about like the Olympic where they run with the torch. And it's like life. It's like a relay. We pass on these knowledges, whether you do it to your children, your grandchildren, because it was passed down to you, or just from the things you learn, or you just pass on little nuggets, life lessons to others. Like the song says, if I can help somebody as I travel along, then my living, it's not in vain. Iron sharpened iron. That is how we overcome, by the blood of the Lamb and the words of our testimony. Because somebody needs a word. And it's like by you showing them how you have done it, how you overcame. Some people don't want you to show them. They just want to steal it. They want to take it from you. Like I said, they see your glory, but they don't know your story. The things that I have gone through and survive, and by the help of God, not only survive, but thrive. I'm telling you, a lot of people, they would be shattered, broken in minces. They couldn't do it. And yet still people are stacking on. They're piling on. Even with your challenges, even with your hurt, your past childhood traumas. You had to heal yourself from all the things that adults in your life who were supposed to protect you and take care of you, they were not there for you. Instead, they want to remind you of your mistakes, and they call you a mistake and a failure. And it's because of that willpower, that determination, that fight that you had, that I am a survivor. And I think, is it Destiny Child? You're a survivor. You're going to make it. Come hell or high water. You're not going to try to steal people's destiny or steal or copycat from other people. You're going to go the path that is less trod. You're not going to sleep on yourself. And this is why you're here. This is why you're here to tell the story. Spirit says to make peace with your thoughts and your world. Heightened awareness, Buddha. Make peace with your thoughts and your world. So again, even the things that were meant to sabotage you, you weren't supposed to be here. Because there were so many things that traps and life handed you, and you're an alchemist. You were able to transmute those things. And by the help of the divine, you were able to create the life you desire, you deserve. Because see, God saw that. And for those of you going through it right now, God sees that you're a fighter. Yeah, you're a warrior, devoted warrior. Let God's love hold you in strength. You co-created with the divine, with God. And you make peace with your disabilities, your handicap, the people, places, and things who counted you out. You made peace with them and your thoughts. You're not going to let those negative things in your head ruin your life or sabotage you anymore. You make peace with them. What failed, you come to peace with that. But right now, in the here and now, you're going to let it count. You choose to win. You're a winner. You're a child, you're a son of God. And one thing I know about him, he never fails. You're a creative being. And if we are made in his image, so are we. You're a sacred vessel. You are the answer. Be guided to your purpose. You are the answer. Again, 2 cards here. Let your passion lead you to your purpose. Be guided to your purpose. So maybe for some of you at first, this thing looks too big for you, that you thought you were going to talk yourself out of it. It was too much. You couldn't make it. With everything life said, people said, your teacher said, the doctor said, your mother said, your father said. You weren't supposed to make it. You weren't supposed to do it. But you had a miraculous encounter with God. Some of you, you will have a miraculous encounter with God, where he will confirm to you that this is what you're supposed to do. This is what you're supposed to do in this life. Do not be afraid of your own power, or do not be afraid of being powerful. You have power within you. I came that you will have life and have it more abundantly. You have a divine mission. And so you decided to go through the rebirth, the transformation, to learn, to start from the beginning with fresh eyes. And so then, as you got into it, this inner fire, this passion ignites. And you realize, you know what? This must be my purpose. This must be my calling. I am going to run the race. I am going to fight this good fight of faith. In spite of what people told me about my challenges, my ancestor, my lineage, whatever curse, whatever it is, I am going to fight this. I have the willpower. I am determined to make it. And I refuse to let anyone or anything break my spirit or break my soul. I refuse to let anyone or anything dampen my faith or my courage. And your awareness becomes heightened. And you made peace with your past. And you settled the accounts. You forgive people. You release them and you let go and you let God. And now you're a devoted warrior. You know you're here as a spiritual body. You're meant to kick some ass. I'm telling you. You're here to take back everything that the enemy stole from you and your ancestor and your lineage. You realize you're a generational curse breaker. Amen. Now you know why you had to go through all of those things. Now you know why you were born with those, what people call disabilities, but now they become your abilities. Now you lay down your life willingly as a sacred vessel, saying, if you can use anything, God, you can use me. Yes, you can use me.